Talking reviews on the run today, Jose and I are going to get into all kinds of violence, and then we're going to soothe things out with a little bit of fishing. Today on Reviews on the Run, Jose and I are taking a look at Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Frontlines, Fuel of War, The Club, and in Versus, it's Fishing Master against Sega Bass Fishing. We're going to get started right away, but first I got to reintroduce our good friend here, Jose Sanchez.
I'm back.
Don Fubar, your humble king of the world, EP's best correspondent.
I do what I can.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. All right, we're talking about Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii. Likely going to be this console's biggest selling game.
I can probably say that it will definitely be the best-selling game on the Wii.
Probably say that it will definitely be.
I can 60% be sure that it's going to be the greatest game. It's
already sold more than 1 million units just in Japan.
And those guys like to buy games.
They do. But this
Wiis.
game is just, it's going to go gangbusters. It's the game that lots of people congregate to play. Now you have online play in the new Smash Brothers.
Which people wanted in the last
one. They definitely wanted. You get more characters, more backgrounds, more animations.
More fun.
More fun, more mini games. And if you've been watching this show for a long time, you probably realize that I'm not the biggest fan of the Smash Brothers games. I didn't like the previous two. I really felt it was odd that, you know, all these beloved Nintendo characters were hitting each other and trying to hurt each other.
They gotta let their aggression out somehow.
Yeah, it just felt weird to me. And then with this game, I was kind of dreading this review a little bit because I know how many people love this series, and I got so much hate mail the last couple of times I reviewed Smash Brothers. But, you know, I went into this, I wiped all my preconceptions off, and I just sat down and played it and tried to just, you know, just analyze it for the game that it was, and I had a good time.
You fell in love with it.
I didn't fall in full love with it, but I had a pretty good time. I did have a crush on it.
You had a crush on it.
Yeah, it charmed me, and I think what I did this time is I said, okay, look, I'm not going to review this as a hardcore fighter. It's not Virtual Fighter, it's not Dead or Alive. It's not Tekken, it's not Soul Calibur. Those are my favorite fighting games. This doesn't hold a candle for me to those fighting games.
Yeah, I don't think it could ever.
It's a different game, right?
It is.
There's all these really cool touches to the love of Nintendo games, but now with Sonic and Solid Snake in the game as well. There's other series.
How about the music?
Music's great.
The opening cinematic song.
You get
Video games live by the end of the year.
You get
Calling it.
Are you?
Calling it.
But there's so many different tunes in there. You get like every Nintendo, almost every video game theme ever made is in this damn game.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Still button mashing. It's still kind of one button or two buttons fighting.
A and B.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
You push up to jump, or you can. There are jump buttons. I mean, one of the clever things that they did on the Wii is they allow you to play the game with a bunch of different controllers. So if you want to have the Wii controller, the Wiimote, and the nunchuck, you can do that. You can play just the Wiimote version. You can play the classic controller.
Any
you can play the GameCube controller.
You can play it with the old Nintendo controller, your old Super Nintendo controller. I'm sure you can find a port to plug it in.
No.
The Genesis controller?
No, you can't.
For Sonic?
No. I knew what I was going to get into with the gameplay. I knew that it was just going to be button mashing and lots of cool special effects, lots of clever level designs. I love the Pikmin level with the giant kind of slug creature that will eat the
levels, I think,
dudes.
are the best part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. They're animated. There's all kinds of cool destructible elements, and then the levels will change. You know, you got Pokemon stadiums, you got Zelda castles, you got castles from Fire Emblem. F-Zero Racing, Mario Kart tracks.
So how about the characters in this game?
Yeah.
You know, you start off with 21, which I guess is a good number.
That's a decent amount of characters.
Not the amount of characters you'd like to see in a fighting game of this caliber.
The first 21 feels like the last Smash Brothers game.
It's true.
You know, it feels just like you're playing those old ones again.
It's true, but then you can unlock 14 extra characters, which are awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your non-Nintendo characters. You got Sonic, Metal Gear, the Solid Snake action.
That's pretty cool. I still think I don't know what the hell's going on in the combat.
Still don't know either.
You know, it's absolute insanity. You beat up on lots of things and
it's just fun. But I mean, if you're gonna do a button masher, make it fun.
It is fun.
I can see its addictiveness growing on me.
Yes, and I am pulling back on the hatred that I've had for this series. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. How about yourself?
I'm going to give it a 7.
7. All right. Now this is exactly what the PSP needs. It's called Beats, and it's a game that you can download off the PlayStation Network store, either on the computer version or the PlayStation 3 version. and put it on your memory stick on the PSP, and it works in the same way that Phase does for the Apple iPod. It's that same kind of thing where you input your music into the game, and then you can play a rhythm-based game based on the beats in your tunes. One of the cool things about this is they've added all kinds of slick-looking animated backgrounds, and it's very stylish, very sleek. They even have an overdrive mode. When you start really kicking in the game and you're doing really well, it'll start making everything a little bit flashier than it already is. There is a limited multiplayer component in the game, and just the fact that you can constantly update it with new music makes this thing really special. But here's the best part about Beats. It's about $5. It doesn't cost hardly anything, and it's definitely something you want to have attached to your PSP. I'm giving Beats 8.5 out of 10. Stick around, we're going off to war with a brand new shooter called Frontline's Fuel of War right after this.
All right, we're talking about the Godfather Mob Wars for the PSP. Now, one thing that stands out right away for me is that it has all of the amazing voiceovers and graphics, just like the console version had. So the action part of the game is just like the console versions for the most part, where you're going in, you can threaten people, but it's not as open-ended. It's not that Grand Theft Auto type of vibe. It's a little more linear in that sense, but they've added in a whole other half of the game, which, brace yourself for this, it's gonna seem kind of weird. They have a turn-based card strategy, kind of like Risk, the board game Risk. The game, take it or leave it, I like it. I think it's a good game. I'm giving it a 7.5.
I'm a big fan of Mario Tennis. Always enjoyed those games. Liked them on the handheld system, liked them on Nintendo's console system. So why can't Sega join the party? They have. It's called Sega Superstar Tennis, and it features all the Sega, well, the superstars that you know and love from the Sega world. You've got some Sonic the Hedgehog, you've got Knights, you've got Ai from Super Monkey Ball, and a bunch of other crazy characters. They use the Virtua Tennis engine, so the play is pretty accurate, but obviously it's all been cartoonified a little bit, so it's a little bit more forgiving. It's meant to be sort of accessible for younger players and your mom and your dad. You want to get them playing games every once in a while. There is some multiplayer play in there wirelessly, obviously. Unfortunately, there's no Wi-Fi play. That would have been great. And some of the special shots and things like that don't really come off as well as you'd like them to. The animation's all right. The speed is okay. The music will drive you insane. Fun stuff. It's definitely worth checking out if you're a Sega fan, if you want to get some more portable tennis action. I'd say the console versions of this game are probably better if you're a really big Sega fan. But if you're only playing tennis on the DS, definitely give this one a shot. It's called Sega Superstars Tennis. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Hey, welcome back. We're here in the heart of Austin, Texas.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
On 6th Street, where all the good food and all the good bars
all the damn good tacos are.
Frontline's Fuel of War from Chaos Studios in Manhattan. This makes me so happy. This is out for the Xbox 360 and PC.
Touches you right there?
It touches me right here. Don't touch the mic, but yeah.
Touches in the heart?
Yeah, it touches my heart because we went and visited those guys and
Without me?
Yeah, we were there when we shot without you, man. Sorry about that. It was a great trip, and I was really impressed with the studio, really impressed with the team out there, and they built a great game. A lot of the guys that worked on previous Battlefield games, they worked on multiplayer components, and they said, no, we don't want to be part of this merger with EA. Let's split off and make our own studio. This is a great looking, great playing.
It's probably the best first-person shooter I've played this year.
In 2008?
2008.
Yeah, I think it's one of the top of 2008 for sure. This and Turok give me hope for the future of FPS. Not necessarily because these guys, both companies, Propaganda and Chaos, have made games that have totally revolutionized the genre.
Yeah.
But they've made really good games as their first kick at the can. Let's set up the story a little bit in Frontlines. Frontlines takes place in the year 2024. They give you this whole chronological backstory of what happened.
The story was good. The way they broke it down was kind of like Resistance.
Yeah. I loved it. It was very creepy. It's about the events that take us to World War III. You got China and Russia teaming up against the West, and then there's a whole bunch of battles chasing for fuel, right? Everybody's going after the oil.
The fuel of the war.
That's right.
Hence the name. Frontline's Field of War.
Yeah, but it's sort of rooted in reality. You know, there's some sci-fi kind of stuff in there. Once you get into the gameplay, the action is really fast. It's really furious. I love the sensation, even with the AI teammates, that you felt like you were in a battle. It felt like there was other people with you.
But your teammates weren't really that much of a help.
They're not smart, no. The single player is a little bit light, but it's not completely tacked on. It's short.
It's about 5 hours.
But you get to try everything in the game. You get to get up in the helicopter. You get to try all the cool little drones and all the cool little toys that you get.
That was my favorite added touch. The little, you can send your car out with a machine gun on it or with like a bomb attached to it.
I love the little choppers, little RC choppers with rockets that you could go and take out guys ahead of you, and then you come in with your sniper and take those out.
You pretty much had to. Those guys
fantastic.
those little gadgets were nice.
Oh, they really come in handy. I love that. I thought that was great. But all of that leads us to the best part about this game, which is the multiplayer.
The multiplayer.
The credits.
The credits were awesome.
The credit sequence is the best. No, the multiplayer is what this game is all about.
50?
You can have 50
25
people.
on 25.
On Xbox Live.
Xbox Live.
Awesome. And this really detailed, hyper-destructible environment. Very fast-moving. There's a commander that can actually give you commands, and if everybody follows properly, you're actually going to win.
Same thing for Call of Duty. Call of Duty was a short game.
Yeah.
Awesome multiplayer.
And as great as Call of Duty was, I don't think it left such a crater that there isn't room in first-person shooter fans' lives for another fantastic shooter.
I'm just happy to see another first-person shooter step up to the caliber. Of Call of Duty 4, which was my favorite game last year.
Frontline's Field of War, terrific game. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
I'm giving it an 8.5.
All right, don't go away. The fighting has just begun. When we come back, we're taking a look at the club. What do you think about Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube?
Well, you know, I gotta tell you, it's another GameCube letdown, another GameCube disappointment in my book. It goes down, another check one off.
I agree. I was not impressed with this game. And maybe the idea originally was kind of cool, but you know what? Now it's just a gimmick, especially on these amazing brand new consoles. And the GameCube is so powerful. I don't want to play an N64 game on the GameCube.
Right. It has all the great Nintendo characters like Mario and Donkey Kong, and was Yoshi in there?
Yoshi's in there.
The princess. So you basically pick one character or a bunch of characters, and you fight against another character in some kind of Nintendo game environment. Kind of seems like it could be interesting, but the reality is that all you're doing really is just pushing buttons, and I didn't feel like there was any strategy whatsoever.
I'm giving this a 3 out of 10.
Wow, 3.
It's just not impressive.
Right.
The GameCube is supposed to be about the next steps and the next level of gameplay. This is exactly the same kind of gameplay.
Preach on, brother.
3 out of 10.
I give it a 2.5.
Okay, welcome back. We're talking about Sega's The Club, which is a new... What kind of game is it? It's not a first-person, it's like a third-person run-and gunner?
You know what it is? It's Gears of War meets an old game called War from Midway.
So it's
Gears of War made as an arcade game. And it's made by Bizarre Creations, who brought us the
Geometry Wars.
And the Project Gotham Racing games.
It's quite a step.
And I like this game. I think it's really fun.
It's fun.
But what excites me about this game is that Bizarre Creations have kind of turned a corner on the content that they create.
I mean, Geometry Wars 2, The Club.
Yeah, but this is what's really cool. Activision owns these guys, and they also own the rights to James Bond. And the rumor is that Bizarre Creations is building the next James Bond game, so they know racing and they know gun battling, as is evidenced by this game. So they should be able to make us a pretty kick-ass James Bond game.
So the next 007 game is going to be the sequel to The Club.
Could be. Should be called Quantum of Solace, which is a weird name. That's the next James Bond game. But anyways, let's talk about this game. It's a run-and-gun action title, and it's basically...
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, don't think about anything. It's kind of like a Jason Statham film as directed by Michael Bay.
Ooh.
Don't you think?
That was good.
Yeah, you like that? Okay. You run and gun. There is really no cover mechanic in the game, which kind of sucks because there's all kinds of really cool areas where you think you could sneak up and pop out and do things like that, but you can't. You're really just like...
Just shooting and trying to stay alive.
You get shot a lot, and you shoot a lot, and there's lots of health pickups. It's completely unrealistic.
But
the physics are weird.
The goal is to keep a running combo through killing people.
Yeah, it's like the kudo system in Gotham.
Exactly.
But now it's killing as much as you can and keeping that combo
So the
up.
more kills you can get in a length of time is how many points you're going to get at the end, and each kill adds another multiplier to
and they have different
icons.
Yeah, there's lots of icons, lots of arcadey video game, you know, conventions throughout this experience. And there's lots of different levels. They're spread out all over the world. You get like a steel mill. Well, yeah, okay.
You get 8.
8 levels, but they break them down. I did like that they break them down into different kind of routes through the levels, so it feels like you do see a lot of the same areas, or routes. You do see a lot of the same areas, but you traverse them in different ways. And the character designs are great too, although not enough done with them. I mean, the cutscenes that take you in.
They look good from when you're selecting them, but then you just see the back of their head for the rest of the match.
And they have cutscenes, but they don't really do too much to draw you in and really care about these guys at all. It's got online play, which is kind of reminiscent of Gears of War, but dumbed down, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
But the gunfighting's pretty fun. The chain gun's pretty good. I think you gravitate a lot to the machine guns. They seem to be the most useful weapons. Shotgun takes too long to reload.
Like the Dirty Harry, the Callahan.
Yeah, the Callahan. That's all right. You know what though? I mean, it looks decent. The animations are pretty cool.
The online mode?
Online mode is not. I mean, it works, but there's nobody playing. Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those cult hits. I think it's going to. Yeah, I think it's going to last for a while, and I believe.
I thought it got very repetitive.
I enjoyed it, man. I'm not going to dog it too much. I think it's a solid game. I think shooter fans should check it out. Maybe not be the perfect edition because there's a lot of good choice out there. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 7.
All right, today in hardware, we're taking a look at a keyboard that is kind of made for people that do a little bit of traveling. So you might have a LAN party, you take your big...
or who like playing games underwater.
Or if you like playing games underwater, it's a rubberized, flexible keyboard from a company called Adesso.
Adesso, the 1.21 gigawatt Back to the Future flexible keyboard.
That's it. No, it's the AKB 220. Beautiful name. It's a rubberized, flexible keyboard that you can roll up and just stick in your pocket if you want to, and stick it into your laptop bag or whatever you want. Put it under your shirt. Not that we're doing anything like that. I think this might be the one that Batman uses as built-in armor.
Utility keyboard?
Yeah, just like
when he's got to send off emails.
Right out. Yeah, it's bulletproof as well. No, it's spill-proof. Yeah, we took a look at this thing, and you know, I like the concept. I like the idea because it's light. It's very portable. It seems very durable. But you know what? It also has to be useful. And I plugged it in, I hooked it up to my laptop to just give it a shot on typing and just general stuff. And it wasn't recognizing my key command.
We need kind of a hard surface to like have it on when you're typing.
I had it on the table. That's a hard surface.
Well, I tried it like on my belly.
Oh, that's a hard surface.
On a pillow.
Yeah, check that out. That's, look at that.
That's I tried it right there. I tried a little something, it's like typing.
Did you break it?
That's what I punctured the A, the B, and the S buttons.
Your six-pack.
I broke the ads.
You killed it. I think if they had fixed the keyboard sensitivity, I think it would be a pretty cool device, but I'm not going to recommend it.
I'm going to recommend it with an asterisk.
Hey, don't go away. When we come back, it's a big fishing versus. First time Fubar and I are reviewing fishing games together.
Won't be the last.
I really hope it is. It's Sega Bass Fishing going up against Fishing Master for the Wii. Welcome to the hit list. Here are 5 of the most memorable water-based games. Number 5 is Treasures of the Deep. Number 4, Seaman. Number 3, Splashdown. Number 2, Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer. And number 1, Sean Murray's Pro Wakeboarder. Welcome back to the Crick. We're doing some fishing reviews today on the show. And
your favorite genre?
Fishing has always surprised me at how boring it's been. So is that true? Like,
I think that's how real fishing is.
Is it? Well,
real fishing is boring unless you're hammered drunk or you're fishing for like marlin.
Yeah.
Out on a huge boat with
a lot of waiting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, we're talking about Fishing Master. This one's developed by and published by Hudson. I think Konami helped publish it as well. And we're looking at Sega Bass Fishing, both for the Wii. And they both use the Wii mode as a fishing rod. They're kind of like obvious. But anyways, let's talk about graphics first of all. Fishing Master, I think, is more suited for the people that want the big head cartoony look to their Wii experience.
It definitely has the arcadey feel. The fish in the game, though,
look pretty good.
Some of the best fish I've seen.
Yeah, and
on the Wii.
I actually liked the idea that they had some different kinds of weather effects. So they had some nighttime look, and they had some
daytime look.
Yeah, day to night cycles going on. I like the surf coming in. You know, the little dog jumps up in there.
Enzo was my dog.
You named him after our cameraman?
I named him Enzo.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's all very simplistic and cartoony, but kind of charming. Yeah. Whereas Sega Bass Fishing is kind of trying to be a little bit more realistic. The best looking thing about Sega Bass Fishing is that the camera goes under the water and you see the fish trying to, you know, fight for the line and
he's getting closer.
Up. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. It actually made that look exciting. But there's something that happens when you start to go in the realistic direction. You start to get a little bit more critical about the thing, and the animations are a bit weird with the guy on the boat, and you know, the environments look kind of cool, but it's not exactly as pretty as it is out in the real world, right? Whereas when you approximate it and make it cartoony, it can charm you, and that's kind of what happened here.
That's like taking a Soul Calibur against the Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah. So I'm giving them both these games a tie in the looks department. What about you?
I'll give it a tie as well.
All right. In the audio department, we have Sega's kind of mellow, jazzy kind of music going to their traditional hard rockin' guitar, heavy metal stuff. Whenever you have the fish battle. What's up with that?
Yeah, that's. I mean, dude.
Do they have one crazy hard rockin' headbanging dude at Sega that does all the music for their games?
I think they do, and I think he's getting paid very well because he's in every game. Every Sega.
It's like you can bank on the kind of music you're going to get in a Sega game, and this is exactly that.
It's true.
It's very 90s arcade, you know, very 90s arcade. And I thought the J-pop kind of music coming out of Fishing Master, charming. A little bit of environmental stuff in Fishing Master, a little bit more in Sega Bass Fishing. Also the annoying fight guy, you know, the sort of weird.
Pull to the left.
Yeah, the weird announcer
guy. Pull to the right.
Yeah.
Hook.
Getting a little bit too excited in there.
Hooked. Fish on. Get bonus. We're almost there.
The most tedious part about Sega Bass Fishing was the beeping. When your line's gonna break.
Oh, I can't stand that.
Beep, 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 beep. It's like I'm not reeling. I'm not even pushing a thing. It's just making this. The fish is fighting and line's gonna break.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, it's awful.
Horrible.
I mean, that alone made me like the audio in Fishing Master better.
I agree.
And what about in the gameplay department?
They have different controller styles. You can reel in with the down button on the Wiimote, or you can reel in. They're both pretty much the same.
You can use the nunchuck as your reel. Your reel
so
thing.
I just switch it. I play inverted.
Yeah.
I have the chuck over here, the Wiimote.
Because in the real world, that's how you do it.
That's just how I fish.
You would reel in with the right thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 30 different locations in Fishing Master as well, which is pretty decent.
Fishing Master is all around fun little game.
And there's more fish. I'm like, there's more fish, and it feels more like a game. And Sega Bass Fishing feels a little bit more like they tried to make it a sim, like bowling. Like if you don't make it super accessible and fun like Wii Bowling did, what's the point? Why not just go out? It's not like fishing for real is really a big exertion of any kind or really big trouble for most people.
I think both
Get outside, it's beautiful out. You know, Sega Bass Fishing, it's an established game. It's tired. And I've never liked it.
Yeah, never.
To be honest, I didn't like it on the Wii either. Fishing Master, I had a little bit of fun with. Yeah. All right, so what are you going to give Fishing Master?
I'm going to give it a 6.5.
I'm going to give it a 6. What are you going to give Sega Bass Fishing?
5.5.
4.5. So there you go, 2 fishing games. We preferred Fishing Master.
Fishing Master gets the nod.
Absolutely. Today on the show, Jose and I took a look at Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Destructible elements with new characters from other franchises like Sonic and Solid Snake make for a good time, but it's just button mashing. Plus, it's kind of weird to see Nintendo characters beating the snot out of one another. Frontline's Fuel of War. This is a solid first game from developer Chaos Studios, and it features up to 50 people playing online at the same time. The only real downside is that the game is pretty short and single player. The Club. This is a fun and addictive shooter from the guys that bring us Project Gotham Racing, but it is a little bit repetitive and the online aspect is pretty dumbed down. Today in Versus, we looked at 2 fishing games for the Wii. Fishing Master. Weather effects, charming music, good-looking fish, and a dog make this cartoonish-style game definitely more fun than the real thing. However, it is still pretty simplistic. We looked at that one against Sega Bass Fishing. The underwater view of fish fighting and the environmental effects make the game more sim-like, but if that's what you're after, why not just go outside and get the real thing? In this furious fish fighting versus, Fishing Master is the winner. The Rogers Video Game of the Week is Frontline's Fuel of War.